Ready?
I'll go.
Ready, Sissy DeMille back there?
Yeah. This is for Barb. Is that her name, Barb?
Okay.
Yeah, Barbara Cott.
All right, it's almost 7 o'clock. Yep, it's 7 o'clock, so we'll start our meeting today. Of course, our today's presentation is called Virtual Machines, and I'll explain what it means virtual in a minute. Also, there's a couple of announcements to make. One, our annual picnic for August has been set on the, is it the 21st or 24th? I can't recall, but I have not received an email from our Boulder group yet. It's their turn, so they're trying to find the location. The picnic is basically free for all. Hot dogs, hamburgers will be provided, and soft drinks, of course. So I'm waiting, but we're looking at the 21st of August. Hold on a minute. Where's my calendar?
I think that's the date they picked.
The 21st of
It's
August?
in my mind.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Go
Well,
down the corner, you got a calendar in the corner there.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, this computer age.
Yes. Yes, there is.
Did you
Okay.
say his computer's age?
The 14th or the 21st, I think it's the 21st they're thinking
Yeah,
about
I
it.
think
So, but check our website, we'll send the notifications to you. So look for that in the future.
What are you talking about?
The annual picnic,
Oh, okay.
our picnic. And of course, in August, we don't have I believe we decided not to have a meeting on August. So this is sort of our picnic, is our August thing. And of course, our Boulder group, talk, chat, shoot the breeze or something like that. So that's it. See what else? Mark, anything else we could, announcements?
Not that I know of.
We don't have our dentist.
I was gonna say, is Dennis here, or is he planning?
Unfortunately, I forgot to give him a call today. But, normally we do have a door prize, but, we don't have our signing sheet yet. All right. Enough of that. Anything else? That's it. So let's get started. Let's see, bring up. We do have internet connection, so like Jack does, well, obviously not connected. All right. Find some box, actually, our virtual box. Our topic is, because we call it virtual machine, and I'm going to bring up the web page. There's a product called, it used to be called Sun Virtual Box by Sun Systems. Of course, you heard Oracle, a big vendor of database, bought Sun, but the virtual box is still continuing. But let me explain what it is, a virtual box. A virtual box, basically, as you can see here, the explanation here. It's right now, this product is basically for free software, available for use for free, open license, basically. A virtual box basically is, it's a program that you run on your laptop, a powerful, good laptop, or your desktop, and it creates an environment, a virtual PC environment, basically. And it creates all your connections, virtual hardware. It creates like a 386, 32-bit environment. And basically the advantage is that if you got a super powerful PC, it could multitask like there was nothing in power and memory. You can run this program in the background, and you can run some of those older programs they don't longer support. For example, like Windows 2000, or you could run Windows XP on it. Also Linux. You could create Linux on it. You could install Linux. And so today's presentation, I will show you the program. You could download this. There's the download section right here. Let's see my mouse. There it is. See? But let me show you some of the screenshots. And I open this up. In this case, this screenshot is called FreeBSD. It's another version of Linux, you might say. As you can see, it runs this program in the background in the Windows environment, basically. Or other way around. Let's say you got a Linux box, but you like to run a Windows environment. There is a product that could run on Linux, and you could install Windows onto it. Okay? So right here, if you look at here, also here's one good example, like VirtualBox for Mac OS. It's in a Leopard, meaning that's the version of a Mac OS version. I think it's the Intel chip that runs Leopard on it. But in this case, I will open this screenshot for you. There it is. So right here, here's the, this right here is the Mac OS desktop. And as you can see right here, this is Windows environment. Okay? And see, there's another one here. Well, here's one right here. It booted up on the Vista setup mode. Bring this up a little bit. And this is a Vista. A person who's afraid to run Vista, you could run it. Yes,
So
Mark?
it just creates a separate,
It creates a
machine.
virtual environment, basically. But you need to load a program called VirtualBox. It's a program, follow the instructions. You need to register, which is an email, that's all it needs. And it creates that. So it takes a while to set it up, but I think I timed it down to less than 20 minutes if I set it up right. Well, once you load the program, you see right here down the lower corner. Well, right now, I did it on an update. They call Oracle. It used to be Sun, now it's Oracle. So I'll bring this up. It's like another application program running in the background. And let me move this window so you can see this. As you can see, this is very new. It's quite simple. Well, you have to get familiar with it. But if you want to get started, just follow the instructions best you can. But like any others, we tend to play around, pressing the buttons. What does work, but it does, and so forth. Well, obviously, you just click New, and there's a wizard that will walk you through it. And this is the part: VM name and OS type. Give it a name, any name you want to. Okay. Now, in this case, in my demonstration, as you can see, there's an example like Windows right here. And if I click that section, you see the different operating systems. One is Linux, Solaris, BST, believe it or not, IBM OS 2, because then it was here, he was the OS 2 person. Mac OS and other, meaning it could be DOS or other different flavor of Linux. Now, what it is, it sets up the environment of each of those operating. It's a template, basically. So, a name, you could give any name. Now, keep in mind, like Windows, for example, you must have a valid Windows license. You have to have a valid Windows license. Okay? You know Linux, you could download it, Fedora, Linux, Ubuntu. Basically, it's open source program, you could do that. Solaris, believe it or not, Solaris do have an open, it's a Unix, not Linux. It's more advanced, it's like in the corporate world. They do have the made for PC boxes. You could download that for free. BST, again, is Linux. And of course, the older programs like IBM OS 2, if you can find those disks, good luck with it. And the Mac OS. OS. Again, you have to have a valid license for it. And the other, DOS. Okay? Now, in this example, I'm gonna use Linux, because I have a image of Linux, so you give it a name. I'm gonna say Ubuntu test or something, or demo, that's better, let's call it demo. And we click next. As you can see here, select the amount of base memory. Now, right now it's defaulted to 512. What it is, when you bought your PC box, how much memory you bought? Well, in this case, by default, 512. Well, let's be generous, we'll kick it up to, 1 gig, okay, which is 1,000 around there. So I could, you could type it in, or you could slide it over. For Linux, that's considered overkill. All right, click next. And this here, a virtual hard disk. Now, what's that mean? Well, we know a hard drive. It's a physical device. If something's solid, a virtual, what it does, it creates sort of like a file system on your hard drive in your Windows, in this case, Windows 7 and my laptop. So what it does, it creates a sort of a virtual space for it. Right now, I tell them to create a boot hard drive disk. It's a new one, which I gave that particular name. And right now, it's set aside by default, or I could use the existing because I was testing, but I'm going to create a new one. So we're going to create a new one, there you go. Now, dynamic expansion storage, or fixed size. In other words, I use dynamic, so in other words, suppose you ran out of space, well, it will increase it automatically. It'll increment it, the next highest. Or you can make it fixed size. That depends how big your hard drive on your laptop or your desktop is. Well, nowadays, with 500 gigs, every laptop has, or desktop, it's nothing. Yes.
How large of a drive does this make, or do you indicate that?
Right now, it's, I'm gonna click next right now. There it is.
Okay, it gives you an option for what.
Right. Right now, I'm gonna create a special folder called Ubuntu Demo. And right now, by default, it's set to 8 gigabytes. In other words, it's gonna allocate the disk space on my hard drive. You're going to create called a virtual drive of 8 gigabytes. Now, it could go up to 2 terabytes if necessary. That depends how big is your hard drive. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was curious.
Yeah.
Is
I
that-
haven't experimented go beyond the limits.
Yeah, if you went beyond the limits, would it tell you?
I think so,
That-
but I haven't tested,
Okay.
to be honest.
And also, does it actually repartition the hard drive?
No,
Or
it
just makes
doesn't.
a virtual.
It creates a
Okay.
file.
Yeah, creates.
That file will create called a virtual hard drive. So,
So you can remove this pretty quick.
yeah.
That's the good part.
I will show you how to remove it. All right, so let's say, well, let's be generous, let's make it 16. Okay, it's double, all right? So we click next. Now, summary. Okay, it's telling, it's going to create a new virtual hard drive. It's a dynamic expanding storage, means to increase size if it's need more. The location, if you see, I don't know if you can see it, but right here it tells you where is this virtual drive located. VID, that's the virtual drive settings. And tell how big it is, approximately 16 gigabytes I set aside. Okay? So I click finish. And again, another summary. Finish here, and there it is. This is only a setup. Think of it as my new desktop, a virtual PC box, you might say that. If you look at it, it tells you the name, the type of OS, Ubuntu, that's a Linux thing. Memory, I give about 1 gig of memory. Boot order, floppy, CD, or DVD-ROM, or hard drive. And this is a virtual, keep that in mind. And what it does, which I will explain later, it uses the resources, whatever your PC box or your laptop device. If you load a DVD, it will connect to that. It will try to configure that in a virtual connection. Memory, it's allocated 12 megabytes of memory, which it's a virtual memory. Keep that in mind. There's 3D acceleration, 2D virtual acceleration, which is disabled right now. Storage, IDE controller, it virtually creates that. So right now it's empty because I haven't created it yet. It's a SATA controller port. It tells what is the configuration, how much space it needs to be allocated. Host driver audio, Windows, sound, direct sound. What kind of control? It identifies what controller I have here, close to it. Network adapter. It will connect to the network adapter. It creates a virtual connection, basically. There's more. Let me scroll down. Serial port. Well, there's no serial port on my laptop. Of course, there is a USB. Right now, it's showing it's active. And now, the share folder, this is the interesting part. What is the share folder? To go back to a virtual, to your real machine, there got to be a connector. It's like a map point, a central area folder. And you could connect to point to that folder in your laptop or your desktop. So I will try to explain that. All right, so let's go here. Right now it's showing power off. So you could double click it here, or you could click start. So let's click start here. Now, to go back, it's telling you to go back your mouse to this area, to this. There's a key command that you have to hit. It's a virtual window, just hit the down arrow together with the mouse, and you could go back and forth. Okay? It's called right control. In other words, it's the control button on the right side. You could go back and forth. All right? So it's going to pop up all the time, so I'm going to do that. Now, yes, this is the first time, so pretty much. Now, if you have the CD, if you want to, you could put it in the CD drive, it will read it. But I already have it on a file called ISO file. It speeds up the time. So what I do here, let's see how to do it. There it is. I have to open this folder. I have to add this. Now, I know it's a little complicated, but it's the interest of saving time. That's all it is. Now, I got to find it. Let's see. In user folder, micro. See my download folder. There it is. Rather than I burn it on a CD, I kept it in a file called ISO. It's a format that you could burn a CD, which I downloaded from the Ubuntu site. This particular version is 10.04. It's a desktop version. It's a, as you know, it's a i386. In other words, it worked with a 32-bit type machine, like an Intel 32-bit. So right now I tell them to select that file and say, yeah, select this, and there it is. What it does, it will speed up the installation process. You'd be surprised. So I say, okay, tell me this source to hold this information. I can click it, okay. And it's saying it's the color, don't worry about that, just click okay on this. Now, I don't know if you will see it, but there it is. It's cool. It's loading, believe it or not. It's running. It's going to be a while. Okay. Oh yeah, mouse pointer. It's going to say click OK. Now my activity on my disk is working. In fact, you can see that activity down here. You see right here? That's the CD. Now, it's doing the install right now. Now, doing this, I also think it's faster opposed to putting a CD. While it's loading, you have any question while this thing's installing? Yes, John?
Have you looked at the virtual PC for from Microsoft
Yes.
from Vista
Yes.
7?
Yes. There's a product that Microsoft do have called Virtual PC. Okay.
It's available off the archive pages for download.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. I'm doing two things here to answer your question. Yes, there is a virtual PC, but Microsoft put a very restrictive, it does work, it works beautifully, but it only provides that virtual PC if you have Windows 7 Pro. If I read it
Or
right.
Vista Ultimate.
Or Vista Ultimate. Okay, as you can see, the insulation, it's still installing here. You don't hear that whining sound. Everything's on, that file isofiles speed things faster this way. As you can see down in the corner right here, that's this activity. Now here comes the insulation menu. There it is. That's one thing. Right now, it's English, I say, obviously, and I say I'm going to install Ubuntu. That's the desktop. So I click on that. As you can see, I'm into that environment right now. Ubuntu. Okay, and now as you can see, it's the installation. Like any other OS installation, these are the basic questions you must respond to it. So in this case, matter of fact, it's see Denver, that's good, because I think it read the information on my laptop. So I say go forward, say next, you have to call forward in this case. Now, what's the advantage having this VirtualBox while this thing going on? And I'm pretty much going to answer these default, like here, keyboard. The advantage is let's say you want to test, this is where you've got to format, so-called formatting the hard drive. I'm formatting the virtual drive. It will not harm your actual hard drive, only for formatting the virtual one, okay? Now this is Linux, so I've taken the default setting in this case, so I say go ahead, which is about right, the size is approximately 17 gigs, with 16 around there. So I already clicked, that's good. Should not take that long. Now I'm gonna call micro in this case. And of course, password, I'm gonna say micro. Or it's gonna complain, it's too small, too short, see, it tells you. But who cares, this is a test. All right, here's the summary. It's telling that, unless if you're the event, you're that intrepid, you could do it, you can hit the advance and do this, but of course, my suggestion is take the default, you know. And all this. And as you can see, it's down the bottom, it's taking the file system, it's creating the file system, basically formatting it. Okay? But in the meantime, why we have virtual? Oh, there is another one called Virtual Player, which I will explain. Why is it became more using this? Well, there's so many operating systems out there. Some people like their Windows. Some people like their Mac OS. Some people like their Linux, Red Hat, or Ubuntu. But there once in a while, we have to have a unique OS to run a particular program. And let's say Windows 2000, it works beautifully. There are certain products. Or Windows, IBM OS 2. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it works. Some product they like it. Right, Dennis? You have OS 2, right, Dennis? Yes. So, you could do that too. Or, let's go one step. You heard Google with their OS coming out, Chrome OS?
Yeah.
Well, suppose you don't have, the advantage is you don't have to reformat your desktop or your laptop. You just create a virtual environment and check it out. That's the advantage. You know how painful it is to wipe off your desktop, your PC box, reload it, a new operating system, you wanna check it out, if you don't like it, you know, don't do it, but you have to put it back to your old system back. Yeah, even your backup, so that's the advantage, having a virtual machine, a virtual box to do this, yes.
How about if I download some crap off the internet and has viruses in it, where will they go?
If you, in other words, your question is, if you got your OS virtual, okay?
Yeah.
And if you're connected to the internet, yes, you will get a virus into that area, because you're connected. Everything you do, it's a PC by itself, it does that. If you got to connect to the internet world, which I will show you, once we get Ubuntu, I'll bring up the Firefox and Ubuntu. Any questions?
Supplement of what I have. Is my virus software now gonna be working in the background?
No, you have to install it, like any other program, like any other, it's like a new box, you have to install an antivirus program. But trust me, I checked it out myself.
It's running separate than your.
Yes, it does.
So you-
And don't forget, it creates a virtual connection. The network card on the virtual box, it's sharing the network connection. Like anything else, once you're on the internet, you're wide open.
What
Yeah.
Jack is saying, now, does it corrupt the whole, it just corrupts the virtual box, does it corrupt the whole?
Yeah, it's safe.
So
Okay,
we
let's,
really
I know
get rid
your
of-
question. Let's say you have Windows,
Yeah.
and you got a virtual, let's say another Windows,
Yeah.
like Windows 2000. Suppose you have no antivirus program. And all of a sudden, boom, you got a virus. But your actual, let's say, Windows 7, it's okay, no problem. It's not affected, it's two separate environments. That is that's the advantage of a virtual. Of course, you could wipe it clean if there is a problem. All right, any other questions? Gee, didn't went over your head, all right? I don't know.
The Mac OS, I think Apple is a little bit, you know, they want to install the Mac OS only on Apple machines, they say.
Well, don't forget, recent their OS, they could run on Intel chips. But the difference they make it so difficult is the BIOS, the configuration. Remember that setting I say Mac OS? It creates that environment for you, a virtual environment, rather than the actual hardware. You can see. Yeah, that's true. In fact, the Mac OS, what I read so far, the Leopard version of Mac OS, it does check the BIOS configuration. So you have, this is a real Mac machine.
So
Yeah,
you're.
because there's some people do trying to install, let's say, an HP box on a Mac. There's a way to do it, but you have to tweak the BIOS on it.